Okay, so to join our ear, we'll open up our finished head file, and we'll go into the side view, so the left view.
Selecting these faces here.
And we'll delete them. We'll then go File, Merge, and find our ear file. And select our ear to bring that in. It's probably down at the center point. I'm going to make this see-through so I can see the ear. And I'm going to start to rotate and scale this so it fits the ear size that we've got here in the image plane, and we can get it to start to attach to our head. So in the front viewport, so just hitting Z to zoom in, I'm going to pull this out to the side, and we have to start to rotate it so that it sits flush with the head. Just turning on the wireframe to help me. Whoops, that's a good point. Let's open up our layers palette, and we'll freeze the head for now, just temporarily, so we can put our ear in the right position. Okay, so that looks about right. Might tilt that just about fraction back a little bit more. There we go. That looks about right. So just making sure that edge lines up as much as we can get it with this edge of the face. Just going to the right, just to see how that's fitting on from the right hand side. Okay. Now, to further prepare the ear for attaching, I'm going to get rid of this vertice by hitting remove, and this one here. And I'm going to, oops, that's, okay, so we'll do it the hard way. We'll select the outer edges here. So from the top triangle that we just created to the bottom one, and we'll extrude. Pull back towards the head. Be easier, I think, from this viewport. We can turn the head off for now. Now I'm going to again get rid of this vertice, and I'm going to join this vertice with that edge down there. So this is all in preparation of joining our ear to the head. So I'm going to collapse this edge here. And this edge here as well. of this one here as well, I think. Remove this edge. And this vertex. Collapse this. Didn't quite like that connection, so I'm going to get rid of that one and bring it down here from there. That's better. So now we can bring back our head. And try to align these up a little bit. With the curve of the head. So now we're going to switch from the ear to the head. So we'll freeze our ear, and we'll bring back our head. So I'm going to turn off my symmetry, so I can just work on the one end. I'm going to grab the border, and then I'll use scale, and holding the shift button, I'll extrude these edges. In the left viewport, we're going to try and arrange these so they match the vertices that we've got on our ear. We may as well just snap these actually. Just use your snap tool. And so we're going to unfreeze it so we can snap it. So just, that's in the wrong spot. Let's add that one to there. Okay, so turn off our snap, and we'll go to edge and insert edge. There we go, it's closed itself. All right, and we'll insert there and there. And that one there. And then with our snap tool again, we can snap those into place. Okay, so now we can hide our ear. We'll go to our left and turn off our snap so we can fix up some of these. So we know that this is correct. It's matching the ear, so we don't want to change that. So I'll go down to my constrain edges and I'll just shift some of these edges around to better fit, or to smooth out, I should say. Okay, then with our polygon, we'll cut in some triangles from here to here, and we'll get rid of this end gong there and that one as well. I'm going to bring this one up here and add that. Okay, so that should be okay for now. Just checking to see how this. So I'm going to bring this in. Whoops. Turn off my constraint to edge so it's on none, so that the head curve is still nice. We can always bring the ear in to match this curve. So yeah, just continue to shape the skull a bit more. Oh, hello, we've got an extra vert there, so we can get rid of that. Just hit weld. So we can bring back our ear. I'll get rid of turbo smooth and symmetry now. Bring back my ear. And attach it to the head. So then I'll grab my vertex and my snap tool and I'll bring those back in to match the head. Okay, now the last thing we need to do, of course, is select all the vertices, go to weld and lower the threshold to 0.001. Check that that nothing is being pulled where it shouldn't be pulled, and everything is still looking pretty good. And then we hit OK. So the ear is now part of the head, and we can go back in and we can fix some of the edges and bring back our symmetry. And then I can put a turbo smooth in. I'll up the iterations a little. There we go. So we'll just go in now and adjust some of these vertices to better connect to the head. I'm just going to fatten this up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to bring back our body and see how we're looking. She is starting to look okay. The eyes are really kind of big, and I'm going to shrink these a little to make them look more proportionate. So at the moment they're really massive and the gap between them is quite small. So I'm going to, let's see, turn off the symmetry and the turbo smooth, and might be just grab up the loops, and we'll convert that to vertices. So holding control and clicking on the vertice button, and we'll move up into soft selection and turn on that. And I'm going to go into the front view, so just hitting F. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to use scale, and I'm going to scale that in so that the eyes become smaller. Might turn, there we go. Our symmetry on it, that's already looking much better. Maybe just a fraction more and out a little. See, with the soft selections, it keeps the shape of everything and it just grabs the out one, so it means that it'll be less for us to tweak once we get the eyes. So there will be a little bit of clipping that we'll have to fix, but that looks much better. And if we bring back our color concept, we can see that's already looking much better. The gap between the eyes is starting to look the same, and the eye shape is still the same, so we've still got that almond type of shape to the eye, and it's looking to be the better size. Means we'll also have to move our eyes themselves. So if we grab this one, we'll turn off, we'll delete symmetry. We'll go effect pivot only and center to the object. And we'll move this, we'll leave that, move this over. Now we'll still need to tweak because it's almost clipping that eye there, but you can see that it's looking much better overall. And then we'll affect our pivot again, and we'll zero that out in the X again and reset our X forms so that we can put the symmetry back on. Flip that. Excellent. And we can freeze our just the eyes again. Now we'll need to go in, make sure we turn off soft selection and start to tweak these so that they sit, the eyes sit in the socket. We'll go back to our eyes, unfreeze that, and again center to pivot, center to object, sorry, center the pivot to the object, and we'll scale that down. Position the eye, there we go. That's looking pretty good. Again, we'll reset this, our x-axis and our x-form, so we can put the symmetry on. There we go. And that'll mean there's less for us to tweak when we go in, now that we've shrunk that eye as well. So just shaping the eye a bit more. Let's change the color of the head. Make it a cool. Alright, so one more thing I'm going to do before I attach this to the body. I'm going to go down to my paint deformation, so right down the bottom of my modifier tab. I'm going to put the push and the pull, and again the strength down to point, something very small. And I'm going to try and round this off a little, because I'm not happy with the odd shape of her dome. So just roughly using my push to shape the skull a little bit more. Just round off the skull a little. The big boxiness was a bit too much. Now I'll switch to relax, and I'll relax some of these back into a better position. We'll increase this a little bit. You can see how the vertices are shifting a little bit into shape. There we go. That's a little better. Still got our temple, but we've shaped off and rounded off the skull a little bit more. So she's a little less of a box head. Now, of course, putting hair on her is going to make a big difference as well. Okay, so we'll get rid of the turbo smooth and the symmetry now, and we'll go in, make sure everything's one smoothing group. So clearing that and putting in one smoothing group. There is an odd pinching going on here. It's a flipped edge. Okay, if I turn that off, you can see how there's a shadow it might be a little hard to see. There we go. So it's got that kind of shadow there. It's because of a weird flipped edge. So we'll go in and we'll turn our edges on and flip that around, so to get rid of that, or at least make it less noticeable. There we go, much better. Alright, so now we need to attach this to our body. So we'll go to the body as well. Make sure that it isn't frozen. We'll clone a copy and mirror it. We'll collapse that and attach. You can turn my image planes off now. There we go. Just in the front viewport, we want to grab all of the vertices down the center. Now the vertices have disappeared again because we need to reset our X-forms. Now this is where the tricky bit comes in. So when we weld, this is where we really need to make sure that our threshold is small, so that when we go in, we're not welding our lips together. So we want to make sure that this is all welded shut and that hasn't quite picked up that edge, but for now we'll hit OK, and then we'll grab these ones and we can increase the threshold for that one and hit OK for there. We'll also perform, we'll go to our modifier panel, we'll go on our drop down list, we'll scroll to the bottom and we'll pick STL check. And then we'll hit check here. So what this does is it checks for any open faces, open edges, double faces, spikes, any of this stuff it'll check for, and it will select it so that we know that if it's there, and we can check to whether or not it's a problem or something that needs to be fixed. So if I hit check, that's right. So the only open edges are the ones down the bottom. Of course they're open. Whoa, what the? Okay. I think that's happening because we haven't reset our X forms yet, so we'll do that now. So we'll reset those X forms and then we'll throw the STL check back on. It could just be a viewport malfunction, but yeah, we can see that there's a couple of edges up here, vertices up here that haven't been welded. We can fix that. And everything else, it's just down here that is the open edges, so that's great. We'll go up here, we'll select these vertices, and we'll hit weld. Go back to our STL check, that error has disappeared, and the only ones are down here on the neck, and that's fine. So we can delete that, and we'll reset our X forms again. Excellent.